Coming to you live from downtown Windsor, this is a St. Clair College MediaPlex production.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to MediaPlex News. My name is Georgia LeBlanc.
And I'm Noah Boudreau. We are back with some brand new content from the journalism and public relation programs here at the MediaPlex.
Do you like taking to the streets? Well, Tavia Mayu did just that, this time in Belle River.
Belle River wrapped up its summer season with the final stroll the streets, and it finished on a high note. When the day began, Notre Dame Street looked like any regular Friday. Cars passing, people heading home, nothing out of the ordinary. Then, the road was blocked, traffic cleared, and the downtown flipped into a walk-only festival. Tents went up fast, vendors set their tables, speakers and mics were checked, and within minutes the street filled with people exploring and talking as music and food took over. This final stroll of the season brought more than 36 makers and small businesses out onto Notre Dame. There were games set up for kids, beanbag tosses, and chalk art on the pavement. 3 separate live music acts took turns filling the street, everything from acoustic folk to upbeat electric covers. Food trucks and patios stayed busy from start to finish. Shops kept their doors open late and offered small in-store specials to bring walkers inside. Visitors could buy handmade crafts, art, candles, baked goods, clothes, and more. For Belle River, it was one more chance to gather, support local, and enjoy the downtown without cars. As the sun dropped and tents came down, Stroll the Streets signed off for the year, closing summer with a full street, full sound, and a strong sense of community. For the MediaPlex Insider, I'm Tavia Mayu.
Technology. We can't live with it, and we can't live without it. Stacey Janzer looks at the tools at our disposal.
Computers, the internet, tools that have assisted many to find the things they were looking for.
I did find some new grandkids last summer that I had never met, that I knew of but I'd never found.
Today, computers and smartphones are everywhere, in classrooms, at the dinner table, and even at the movies. They have been used to find information and other times for communication. They have become so intrusive, theaters have a short message asking moviegoers to turn off their phones. But some teachers want the phones on, especially during class. And this professor goes one step further.
Each class, or each week, we will have a debate on a particular topic. And Twitter is used for the students to reflect on the topics being debated. And so it gives them a chance to participate in a large classroom where they wouldn't have the opportunity otherwise.
This new method of conversation between teacher and students is helping them with more than just studies.
It makes them feel comfortable coming from high school to first university. It somehow makes them feel, eases them into the conversation.
Many students in universities have been able to use computers since their childhood, but for Canada's largest age group, it's a struggle to keep up with the younger generation.
We started off with a computer that took up a whole room, a huge machine.
What once took up an entire room over decades shrank, and now a machine far more powerful than the first computer can fit in the palm of your hand. 2-year-old Fallon has been using a tablet since she was 9 months old.
When she was that little, she would, the colors and she'd play the Fisher-Price games, Fisher-Price apps. Colors, shapes, letters. There's one called Endless Alphabet, and she's learning her alphabet.
Nagy says a tablet is useful for more than just education.
Well, we had just gone on vacation, and on the airplane, she played it on the airplane, kept her quiet, like she's in the car, right? So she sat in her car seat and she played it.
Nagy puts limits on the use of the tablet, but understands their benefits.
Just the way of the world. I already know they have an iPad class or a tablet class, they call it, and it shocks me.
Martin has used computers since the 80s but struggles with newer technology. She takes classes to keep up.
Yeah, I'm going to take a class on the 29th to learn more about Windows 8 because it's quite different than XP. I've learned quite a few things on my own, but I certainly need to know a lot more.
Martin uses social media websites to keep in touch with family and friends.
I keep in contact with them through email and Facebook. And my sister, who's 84, she's on Facebook.
We've come a long way in a short period of time. 20 years ago, the concept was almost impossible to grasp.
We can get a world map.
Piece of cake. Point and click.
Now, all of a sudden, I know this is going to sound shocking to you, but now we're in Buffalo.
How are we in Buffalo?
Well,
we were just in South Africa.
We were just in South Africa, but one of the things on the internet is that you can link to any computer.
As the internet continues to evolve, the applications for it do too. Social media like Facebook and Twitter have become staples for some internet users. Those who use it need to understand social responsibility.
They have to manage their online presence. They have to think, okay, everything that you communicate is in the public sphere. For the most part, they have to be aware that everything they say is public, and they have to act accordingly.
Some plan to teach social etiquette to their children.
Bullying, no cyberbullying, stuff like that.
Betty Martin searched for her long-lost granddaughter. She was her son's daughter, a search he worked on as well.
She was my son's daughter that we had never known. And she'd been looking too for him, but unfortunately he passed away 5 years ago. So she never got to meet her dad.
On her son Scott's deathbed, he asked a nurse if she could get in touch with his daughter. Martin could not fulfill his final wish. 2 years ago, she tried a different search.
By typing in a name that I was not sure of, but I typed in the name, and it led to an article with her name in it. And from there, I found her, my granddaughter.
Typing in the mother's last name found an article about Cross Lake Band. Clicking on the link, a photo came up. That confirmed it for Betty.
She was very happy that I found her. She had been trying to find us, but anyway, we had made several attempts before that, but weren't sure of what the name was by that time.
Martin was able to reunite with her and her family last summer. As you've seen, computers have come a long way, from improved communication between teachers and students to connecting people with long-lost relatives. The internet has had a major impact on society. In just 20 years, the internet has become a need for many. How will it affect lives in 20 years? For MediaPlex News, I'm Stacey Janser.
Fall is here, so you know what that means. It is WIF season. Let's have a sneak peek of what to expect this year.
The Windsor International Film Festival is Canada's largest volunteer-run film festival. WIF celebrates the art of cinema by showcasing Canadian and international films and filmmakers. Get your tickets or come in for film recommendations at the WIF box office/gift shop next to the Capitol Theatre. There is a movie for everyone at WIF, including The Shining on Halloween night. WIF's opening night movie on October 22nd at the Chrysler Theatre is Myland Kicks. It's a feel-good Canadian film and an easy recommendation from WIF's chief programmer, Vincent Georgie.
And it's more lighthearted, it's fun, it deals with a lot of psychological issues as well as a coming-of-age story too, and finding yourself in your early 20s.
WIF's centerpiece film is Weiwei's Turandot and will be shown on October 29th at the Capitol Theatre. Weiwei is a Chinese activist and Turandot is one of Puccini's operas.
It follows how he is going about creating this new rendition of Puccini's Turandot at the Italian Opera House. And then also on top of it all, it takes place in March of 2020. So we know all the difficulties that had to happen after that too.
WIF's closing night film on November 2nd is at the Chrysler Theatre. It's called After the Hunt and stars Julia Roberts.
This film is a return to the big screen in a big way with Julia Roberts, and it's already being praised as one of her best performances of all time, up there with obviously Erin Brockovich.
At the same time, a free community screening of this year's Liuna People's Choice Award winner will be shown at the Capitol Theatre. Last year's winner was Anora, which also won the Palme d'Or at Cannes and the Academy Award for Best Picture. For the MediaPlex News, I'm Ken Pastushin, and I hope to see you this year at WIF 2025.
Now here's Kelly Scheffler, and she wants to rewrite the patriarchy.
Rewiring the patriarchy isn't just about examining what it means to be a woman in society, but what living in a society that's a patriarchy means for a man as well. The term toxic masculinity means different things to different people, so let's instead focus on what might define healthy masculinity. Men are, on average, 3 times more likely to successfully commit suicide than a woman. Whether the note says they feel like a failure because they lost their job or they can't live without the person they loved and lost, it's always tragic when someone feels they have nowhere else to turn. It highlights the need for 2 things: more access to mental health supports and changing how society views men who try to address their mental health and their feelings. Men are far less likely to seek mental health help than women are. There is a tendency to tell boys while they're growing up that they need to man up when they're showing any kind of vulnerability, thereby showing them that men are not allowed to be vulnerable. Society, by and large, does not look kindly on men sharing their feelings with each other, and that needs to change. We, as a society, need to start showing young men and boys what supporting each other looks like.
Do you tell your male friends that you love them?
All the time.
I want to set you a challenge. Yeah. Would you be willing to call up one of your friends right now and tell them that you love them?
Yeah, of course I will, yeah. I just wanted to call and tell you I love you, man.
I love you too, mate.
So I'll see you on PlayStation, yeah? So me and a group of mates, we have like a mental health group. My friend called it Monthly Reset. So every month we meet up. They can either choose to talk about something with no opinions, no one says anything, it's just a vent, get off the chest, or they can option to, ask for some advice, so we can provide some advice if we have any.
And he goes, well, don't you think it's kind of childish to be reading comic books? And I said, no, it brings me happiness. Does that bother you? He goes, well, someday you're going to grow out of it and realize it's for kids. And I said, well, then I guess I'll be a kid who benches 290. Have you seen one of those before?
Another huge conversation is reframing what masculine and feminine look like. Gender and what masculinity and femininity look like are dictated by society. What it means to be a man or a woman is biology and physiology, our reproductive organs, our hormones. Those things are not the same. What it means to be masculine or feminine has changed a lot depending on the where and the when. Many of today's feminine fashion trends, makeup, heels, wigs, nail polish, can all be traced to men using them first, many times as a sign of battle prowess, power, or social standing. If I can leave you with something to think about, it's this. How we constrain ourselves with what it means to be masculine and feminine creates a prison for everyone where expression and passion are limited, especially when so many of those limits are arbitrary. Why realistically shouldn't a man paint his nails? Thanks for joining me again, and remember, guys, if nail polish is manly enough for Babylonian warriors, it's manly enough for you.
What's up with your car? Joe Bedard is our resident expert, and he takes us on a tour of his car.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joseph Bedard with the MediaPlex, and this is Cars Aren't That Scary, a segment of the show where I try to teach you some tips and tricks on how to do some basic vehicle maintenance, even if you've never touched a car before. Today, we're going to be starting out easy, and I'm going to be showing you how to check the fluids in your car.
That's a good bit.
Let's get started. Now, to start checking your fluids, you need to get access to the motor.
I'm his
to
biggest
do that,
platonic
there's a
fan.
lever underneath the steering wheel with a symbol of a car and its hood open. All you need to do is grab it and pull towards you until you hear a low thump. Once that happens, you can close your door and move to the front of your car. Now, if you did this right, there's going to be this gap in the front of your car. However, the hood's still not opening. That's because there's another release in here that you need to move to allow the hood to open. So all you're going to do is take your fingers, feel underneath here until you feel what could be a piece of metal. Either pull it to the left or right, and now the hood will open. Now, not every hood is the same. Some have hood shocks that allow you to just let it go, like it was a trunk or a hatch, but a lot of them don't have that. So what ends up happening is if you try to let it go, it's falling, and it's going to hit you. So if that's the case, and if you don't have hood shocks, you got to look for your prop rod. Mine is right over here. Usually it's a bright in color, so you can easily identify it. And if you pull it up, you'll notice some holes on the hood itself. Hook the prop rod in the holes, and now your hood's up, and now you're good to start checking your fluids. Now, if you've never worked on a car before, there's a lot to look at. There's safety labels, warning signs, and just colors all over the place. It's really overwhelming, but it's not as complicated as it looks. Now, while your car might not look like mine, they all run on roughly the same principles. There are going to be 3 to 5 reservoirs that you are able to check to make sure your car is running smoothly. Now, we're going to start with checking our oil, and we're going to do that by checking this dipstick right here. Now, I'm lucky. My dipstick's right in front, very visible. However, in some cars, it's a little harder to find. All you need to do is either check your owner's manual, or honestly, just look around. You'll find it eventually. To pull this out, all you're going to need to do is put your finger in here and give it a slight tug. It shouldn't be super hard. Once you pull it out, you're going to notice that there's a lot of oil on there and a bunch of different crosshatches and a couple holes. These holes are where your oil is supposed to be in line with. However, if you noticed, mine's way out here. That's because when the motor runs, oil is splashed all over the place and coats the dipstick. So, to get an accurate reading, you need to grab a shop towel or a paper towel if you don't have it, wipe off the dipstick, make sure that's pretty shiny, put it back in, make sure it goes all the way down, and then pull it back out. Now, you will have an accurate reading of your oil. As you can see, mine is right before the max line. Now, once you've confirmed your oil is within the right area, all you need to do is put it back in, make sure it's pushed all the way down, and you're ready to move to your next fluid. Next up, we'll be moving to our coolant, which is very simple to check. On the side, you are going to notice something that says something along the lines of cold fill range or min-max range, something along those lines. You just have to make sure that your fluid is within that threshold. As you can see, mine is within that threshold, which is this line and this line here. I would like to warn you to never open up this cap unless you are certain your vehicle is completely cooled off. When the car warms up, so does the fluid inside, and it builds pressure. If you were to open up that cap when the car is warm, there will be a sudden release of pressure, and all of that hot coolant is going to be shooting out of that cap before you even know that it happened. So never touch that unless you are certain your car is cooled off. Next up, we are going to be going to our brake reservoir. To check it, you're going to want to grab a paper towel, and you're just going to want to wipe off the sides until you find a min-max line, which I have just done right there. That is my max line, and this arrow over here is my min line. Very visible. Sometimes it's difficult to see the fluid inside. All you got to do is give it a little shake, but my fluid is just a little bit past the max line. I can see it sloshing around in there. So if that's all good, then you're all good. Now, the next fluid we're going to be checking is our transmission fluid. This one is very difficult because some cars don't have it at all. Other cars are very difficult to find, and some cars it's very visible. Now, my dipstick I didn't actually know about until a couple months ago, which is right here. Now, checking your transmission is the exact same concept as checking your oil. All you got to do is grab a new paper towel, pull up the dipstick, wipe it off, put it back in, all the way down, and then pull it back up again. Then, all you gotta do is look, and you'll see if your fluid is within range or not. Now, the last fluid you have to check is the power steering fluid. Not all vehicles actually have this fluid. So, to check, just look around, and if you notice the cap with the power steering logo, that means you have hydraulic. If not, you most likely have electric, and you can completely skip this step altogether. Now, if yours is dirty like this one here, all you really gotta do is take another paper towel or one that you've already used and just wipe it off a little bit. Now, this reservoir, pretty much the same concept as the coolant and the brake. You just make sure your fluid is within this threshold. It's a very small threshold, but it's your threshold. As you can see, the fluid basically is right there. You can see the lighter color on this side, darker on this side, and if you're having a hard time seeing it, all you gotta do is shake it around a little bit and you can see the fluid moving. But since you've checked all your fluids, you're pretty much all good to go now. All you got to do is close your hood. If you have hood shocks, all you got to do is push against the shocks until you're about here, and then the hood should fall down on its own. But if you have a hood prop, you're going to have to lift up the hood a tad just to get the hood prop out, put it back in the hook you found it in, and now you can either let your hood down gently and then push it closed against the latch, or to make sure that it's closed all the way, put about 6-8 inches up off the ground and then just let it go. For safety, just give it a quick tug. If it doesn't come back up anymore, that's all done. I would also like to preface by saying, if any of your fluids end up being too low, make sure you check your owner's manual and get the correct fluid for that system and fill it as soon as you can. Driving on low fluids can cause catastrophic damage and just be unsafe depending on the system that it's in, whether it's brakes, coolant, or even just oil. Not only that, you can't fill any system with any fluid. That could also cause damages or just not function. So you make sure you fill the right system with the right fluid. But anyway, my name's Joseph Bedard. I hope today that I've shown you cars aren't that scary. And I'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Feeling a bit out of the loop when it comes to current pop culture? Not to worry, the girls have got you covered.
Welcome to Spilling the Tea. I'm Natalie.
I'm Tina.
And I'm Chelsea. And this is where we talk about everything pop culture.
Taylor Swift's 12th album
is coming out on October 3rd by the time it airs.
And it's probably going to have so many records by the time you're watching this. And I, for one, cannot wait.
Oh my God, I love your cardigans.
Thank you. I'm wearing the Midnight's one.
And I'm wearing Taylor Swift Folklore.
And I'm wearing the Tortured Poets Department.
Gotta show our support.
Yes, for sure. We all have our different vibes, our different essence. We gotta capture that Taylor Swift in her eras.
Are you excited for the next era?
I'm so excited. I can't wait to see Taylor Swift's different style now that she's engaged.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's very exciting to see because it's like from all the things that have happened to her, it's fun to see her 12th album finally come out.
And not just that, we got to support of the engaged man, Travis Kelce, who is also supporting Taylor Swift. So not just Taylor Swift who's supporting the album, but football fans who also can appreciate the album too as well.
Exactly. All right, well, thank you for coming and joining and spilling the tea with us today. If you want to join us next time, we'll be here on the MediaPlex. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. We hear from one of our graduates, Zachary Balog, who shares with us what he has been up to since. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Zachary Balog, and I'm a graduate of the journalism program here at St. Clair College. During my time at the MediaPlex, I got to learn from so many great professors and some other people who were in the business. I got a chance while I was here to do some live shows, most notably our Friday and our Tuesday show. And I learned those skills and applied them to my channel, Zach Tech Productions, and to my late night talk show, Remotely Zach. So if you're looking for a school to use your skills in writing and filming, I suggest the MediaPlex at St. Clair College.
Let's kick off this week's Sports Talk with 2 Minute Warning, your local source for sports.
Welcome to 2 Minute Warning. We are your host, Alex Da Silva.
And I'm Marshall Kewen.
And this is your sports news breakdown for the day.
For the first time in 32 years, the Toronto Blue Jays are going to the World Series. Last night, it was Game 7 with the Seattle Mariners taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, with the Mariners leading the ball game into the 7th inning. But with runners on 3rd and 2nd, George Springer hit a dinger, putting the Blue Jays up 4-3. The boys in blue held it down through 2 innings to complete the historic comeback and reserve their spot in the World Series. The Toronto Blue Jays will have home field advantage against Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers as Game 1 takes place Friday at the Sky Dome at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And in the NHL, the Vegas Golden Knights are off to a hot start, still unbeaten in regulation and led by Jack Eichel, who currently leads the league in points with 16. Meanwhile, the Calgary Flames might be burning out. Their current record is 1-5 and the last in the league. The offense is struggling, and another team who is struggling is the San Jose Sharks, who haven't won a game yet this season. And to sum it up, Sharks head coach Ryan Warsofsky made headline news saying, "I'd give up one of my children for a win." One of the biggest surprises this season is the Detroit Red Wings. Their current record is 5-1, led by captain Dylan Larkin.
Yes, and the last time Detroit reached the playoffs was 2016. Will they finally put an end to their drought? They do have a pretty decent core with the likes of Patrick Kane, Lucas Raymond, and Alex DeBrincat. And we can't forget about the tandem in net with Cam Talbot and Jock Gibson.
A great duo. And in the NFL, the Denver Broncos pulled off a historic comeback, erasing a 19-point deficit in the fourth quarter to beat the New York Giants, 33-32.
And Alex, I can't tell who has more aura now. Is it Bo Nix or is it the duo of Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo?
Or maybe Drake May. Drake May threw 21 for 23, 222 yards and 2 touchdowns with the New England Patriots beating the Tennessee Titans 31-13 and now are in first in the AFC East.
Wow, great for the New England Patriots there. In local sports, the Windsor Spitfires are looking to get back to their winning ways after dropping a 5-3 loss to the Sarnia Sting on Saturday.
Their next game is this Thursday when they take on the Ottawa 67s at the WFCU Center. Puck drop 7:05 p.m.
We have a lot to look forward to, but unfortunately for us, that's the end of our show.
I'm Alexis Silva.
And I'm Marshall Kewen, and you have been watching 2 Minute Warning.
Ready to learn more about local history? The Zack Attack is back with some more Did You Know?
Located right behind me is the City of Windsor Armories, and this is a 2-story red brick building featuring Richardson Romanesque structure located right here in the heart of downtown Windsor. With a 3-story tower, it captures the design of Canadian armories in the early 1900s. It served as the home of the Essex Scottish Regiment, then the Essex Kent Scottish Regiment. In 2004, following the move of military units to a new facility in the city's West End, the City of Windsor purchased the building. And it sat empty until the University of Windsor purchased the facility, bringing it back to life. The Armories remains the only armory in Essex County. The more you know. For the MediaPlex and Zack Attack Productions, I'm Zachary Balog.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Georgia LeBlanc.
And I'm Noah Boudreau. And you've been watching
The MediaPlex Insider.
This has been a St. Clair College MediaPlex production.
I think it's so important to be taught by industry professionals because they know what they're doing. They're not just teaching because they read it in a book somewhere. They're teaching because they've lived it. I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.